Okay, this is a response to gratex. My wife recommended I just ignore you, but I did for a while, but I just have to respond.
Anywho, deterministic one's the other video response, and this one went on for 18 minutes, and I couldn't bear more than a couple of minutes of that one.
Really?
Deterministic one, I'm sorry that your wife is going through chronic pain.
And I thank you for your sympathies. And I guess I want to point out the difference between what you presented and what I presented. You were, I guess, compelled to express sympathy, because what I presented was an example of unwanted, unneeded, imposed pain. Yeah, I had no I felt no reason to say, I'm sorry you went on your bike ride, right? I mean, you notice the difference between what I presented and what you presented.
However, how dare you use that?
Well, I dare because you were mocking, in my opinion, real pain, real unwanted pain. You were just making a mockery of it. If you hadn't done that, I wouldn't have dared to bring up the example of my wife.
How dare you exploit that?
By exploit, I assume you mean it was somehow unethical or unjust. I can't see how either one of those apply. Like I say, I wouldn't have needed to do it if you hadn't been making, I mean, I could say, how dare you make a mockery of pain and suffering. So to come back and say, how dare I? Well, how dare you? How dare you make a mockery of suffering?
Or I bet you're trying to push a philosophy. A philosophy that you can't even fucking practice. Okay. I'll tell you why you can't practice it. Because efilist says that love isn't real. But the reason you're so distressed by your wife's illness is because you love her.
That may partly be true, but you express sympathy also. Why did you express sympathy? I'm sure you don't love my wife. You understand, as a human being, you wouldn't want to go through that yourself. I mean, love, you know, I've actually, my wife and I have had discussions about what is love. I mean, I think maybe love can, in part, is empathy or sympathy, or, you know, having things in common. You like to be with this person. They're enjoyable to be around. And I guess I wanted to give an example of where I mean, like I say, you express sympathy. I don't see any reason why for you to love my wife. And the example I wanted to give was my neighbor called over one time. It was actually my neighbor's daughter, and they had found a dead cat in their backyard, and they wanted me to come over and take care of it. And of course, I went over and helped them out. Well, I'm in the backyard gathering up the dead cat, and when I come back in, she's crying. And cause and effect, I swear, I started crying. Just, I don't know, the way she was crying, I just felt sorry for her. She was really in even now, I'm just remembering that. You know, and anyhow, we're going through the house. By the time we get to the front door, she's sobbing. And I started sobbing. I actually had to cover my mouth to stifle myself. So I'm supposed to be helping her out here, and then I'm just, you know, I'm sobbing in front of her. That's certainly not helping the situation. I just wanted to help them get rid of the dead cat. Anyhow, yeah, I don't love my neighbor's daughter. I felt her pain.
Can't even fucking practice what you preach. Alright? And don't presume to know what my suffering is.
I think I missed something. Well, yeah. You say, I don't think I ever can you quote me where I presume to know your pain? I think I asked you a question. I asked you, have you not experienced anything horrific? That's a question. I didn't assume you hadn't. In fact, my wife, that was what she blurted out when I told her about you in your bike ride. She actually said, he must have never suffered anything bad. But I didn't say that. I asked you, have you not experienced anything horrific? And as far as the, you know, I wasn't an efilist when I got married. I wasn't an efilist when I met my wife. I met my wife in 1989. We got married in 2001. And Mendon started making videos till 2007. His first efilist was in 2011. So I don't think efilism says if you're married and you become an efilist, you should just bail on your family. I don't think efilism says that. So anyhow,
I could show you my scars. I could tell you all my mental and physical afflictions and pains and persecutions and oppressions throughout my life. I could go in depth into that, but the thing is, you guys are fucking addicted to misery, and I'm not going to indulge you.
We're not addicted to misery. Misery just happens. This is what I was trying to point out. My wife doesn't want to pass another kidney stone. She's not addicted to that misery. We're just pointing out misery happens, whether you like it or not.
Alright, just bear in mind, everybody has loved ones they've lost. Everybody has been through the whole gamut of human emotions. Alright?
Yeah, that's our point. So you're agreeing with us that everybody suffers. That's one of our points. Everybody suffers. So when you bring a new person into this world, you're saying you will suffer whether you like it or not. We say that's wrong.
And the fact that people don't agree with you doesn't mean to say they haven't, or they're wrong, or they're liars. It just means they don't agree with your opinion.
So you're pushing this opinion thing all over the place. I can have the opinion that, I don't know, football is stupid, therefore we should eliminate football. That would just be an opinion based on a whim. Even though I could point out how really stupid football is. Maybe that's a bad example, because football really is stupid, sports in general, but if that's all I had, was I think football is stupid. If that was my argument, that would be just a personal opinion. We're providing a value judgment based on evidence. Evidence that the only reason we're here is because somebody else decided for us that we will be here. And those people that decided for us also are here because somebody else decided for them. You go all the way back. What started it all? The DNA molecule. That's the guilty party, if you will. If the DNA molecule hadn't showed up on the scene, none of this misery and death would be happening.
Okay, opinion.
See, it seems to be your weapon of choice. Everything's a value judgment, even though a value judgment can be based on personal whim, or it can be based on objective thought and evidence. And that's what the antinatalist, efilist are doing. It's not just a whim. We're not saying, oh, we think babies are annoying, therefore nobody should have babies. That would be a whim. But we're saying that babies are here because somebody else decided they were going to be here, and they are going to suffer because of somebody else's decision. Somebody else rolled the dice for their life. Read a story today about gunman kills 12 in Colorado movie theater. Horrible, right? Everybody would agree that's horrible. That's not, I don't think you can say that is subjective. I mean, this 24-year-old goes into a movie theater, just starts shooting people. I don't think they gave a reason why yet, but we can objectively state that if his parents had not procreated him, that particular event wouldn't have happened. Any horrible event you can name. It's because somebody procreated. I mean, if the parents don't feel some guilt over this, I would say they got a problem. Because if they hadn't brought this person into the world, this wouldn't have happened.
Not fact, opinion. Alright? You can't go like Jay Sanders, like, oh, there's no God.
See, there you go. Now you're just mocking. Whenever you say, oh, that's just your opinion, oh, that's just a value judgment, that's just subjective, you're mocking the argument. If you present evidence, facts, and say, based on these facts, we think this is the way we should act. That's different than saying just not a personal whim.
There's no heaven. It's a material universe. Sentience is material. Therefore, life shouldn't exist. I was like, what? That doesn't follow. Okay. Oh, look, you've expressed 4 facts. Therefore, your 5th thing must also be a fact.
No, it's saying that in a value judgment, we're asking you to carefully consider these facts we've presented and the value judgment we've made. Carefully consider that. What is wrong? Where's the disconnect between the facts and the value judgment? Now you're saying, oh, it's just an opinion. That the conclusion is just an opinion. You're saying everything's just an opinion, and that's not good enough.
Fact, 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 fact. That's what it should be, not fact.
I mean, what are your facts? I mean, I don't think I haven't seen anybody make an argument for natalism. Everybody's just attacking anti-natalism. That's my recommendation to anybody out there, yourself included. Make an argument for natalism. Why is it a correct path to take? Why should you fertilize that ovum when there's no need? I know you say, well, no one says there needs to be a need, but we're saying, yeah, why is there a need to do that? Why do you feel compelled to fertilize that ovum? Can you give us a rational reason to fertilize that ovum besides it's just the way things are or whatever? Why are you compelled to fertilize an ovum?
Fact, opinion. You know, but you've got an opinion about facts, which means it must be a fact. No, wait, it's still a fucking opinion.
See?
Right? Your philosophy is an opinion, one that you preach.
If what you're saying is true, everything's an opinion, and nobody can make a value judgment, and we wouldn't be able to make laws. I mean, we have laws, and you're saying, well, it's an intersubjective consensus or something, but you also say, this is in another video, I think, that imposing on the rapist is okay because imposing on you is better than the imposition you are putting on the person that's raped. Yeah, that's a logical argument. That's what we're saying. There's no reason to procreate. No rational reason to procreate. It just brings more harm into the world. You already said everybody experiences suffering. So when you procreate, you just increase the amount of suffering in the world.
Yet cannot practice. Because if you had practiced natalism, you would have been saying, well, put my wife out of her misery so she doesn't suffer anymore.
Well, see, putting one person out of their misery is not the same thing as putting everybody out of their misery. It's different. Like the gunman in Colorado. Did he increase or decrease suffering overall? I mean, he decreased the suffering for those that killed. he killed, perhaps, we don't really know how much suffering those people would have experienced in their life, and is getting shot, more suffering than what they would have suffered in their life. I mean, killing individuals or a group of individuals, I can't justify, because I cannot calculate how much suffering was increased or decreased. So the default is, I mean, that's why we have laws against murder. I mean, in our current, while we're in the game, while the game's going on, you can't just go around shooting people, because it increases suffering. That's what we've concluded. I mean, you're taking away that person's right to life. I mean, we're in the game. If they wanted to check out, they can check out themselves. And not only that, now everybody, all the friends and family of these 12 are now suffering. So just killing one person doesn't, you can't say that that's going to reduce suffering overall. Only in my particular case, yeah, maybe. But my wife has friends and family, and they're going to be upset over the fact that I killed my wife. Okay, I'll be in jail, and my son will be all on his own now. Well, he has friends, but I mean, yeah, killing my wife is not the answer.
Okay. If you had been practicing efilism, you wouldn't have even been married in the first place.
Well, I already addressed this, but yeah, I only became an efilist or an antinatalist recently. I was caught up in the game for a long time. I was not like Amendham. I mean, we're about the same age. While he was figuring this shit out, I was, you know, playing games and just not thinking about this. I mean, I pretty much probably saw the same thing as he did. I don't know. It was a thought I had recently. What if Amendham and I were swapped at birth? Would he be like me? Would I be like him? It's hard to say. But the fact is, somehow he figured it out early on. And I didn't have the voice of Amendham when I was growing up. If I had, I probably would have said, yeah, he's got a point there. But I didn't have that voice. All I had was natalism bias in our culture. You know, family is the greatest virtue on the planet. That's what I was being subjected to. I didn't have the voice of antinatalism when I was growing up.
Wouldn't be in love, you'd be controlling that, because that's a fantasy delusion.
Maybe so, but like I say, the love thing kind of confuses me. But I do care about my wife. You know, we've been together since 1989. I'm just, oh, love isn't real, therefore I should just bail on my wife? No.
Love is a fantasy. Positive emotions are fantasy. Only negative emotions are real.
Well, negative emotions, see, come about through experience, and the negative emotions come about because of real suffering that just comes our way, whether we like it or not. Positive emotions are things we we go for the positive emotions because we want to reduce the suffering that we experience. We go through all the suffering. Well, you know, let's try and get some positive in our life. If there's no positive in our life or pleasurable moments, this would just be completely miserable. So, yeah, the negative emotions come from real experiences, and so do positive emotions. But that's something we strive for. Anyhow.
But obviously, we're human beings. That's not how our brains work. It's all relative. It's all in contrast to each other. The reason that you are so upset about your wife's illness is because you love her.
Well, you're saying it again, and I'll repeat. You said you're sorry about my wife's chronic illness. Why do you say that? Is it because you love her? No, because you know pain really sucks. Anyhow.
So oops.
See, I mean, was that really necessary? And oops, especially when I'm pointing out that what you're saying isn't entirely true. You've expressed sympathy for my wife's condition. I don't think you necessarily love her, but I think you're a human too. You know what it's like to feel pain. Therefore, you say, I'm sorry, your wife is in chronic pain. You don't have to love my wife to even a little bit vicariously suffer, right? I'm right there with her in the game. So, and when I say, my suffering is nothing compared to her suffering. Mine's just a stress. Which is, stress is bad, but I'd rather have stress than pass a kidney stone.
I'm just, how dare you exploit
There you say it again. I mean, you see, I think you're saying that, how dare I exploit, because I made a point. I mean, right off the bat, you said you're sorry. I felt no need to say I'm sorry to you for your bike ride. So, yeah, I dare, because you were making a mockery of suffering.
To think you know my life.
Can you quote me on that? Can you? Is there something anywhere where I said I know your life? I know you haven't suffered like my wife. I don't think you can find that. I asked you a question. Have you not experienced suffering on my wife's level or worse? That was a question. I didn't presume anything.
Fuck you.
Man, fuck you too, eh?